We are picking up the conversation right where we left off, and now we are going to take somatic tracking out of the practice room and into your everyday life. In the last video, you learned what somatic tracking is, a way of paying attention to pain with curiosity, kindness, and a sense of safety, instead of with fear and urgency. You also tried a guided exercise, and you got a taste of what it is like to sit with sensations without immediately trying to escape or fight them. That is a big step. Many people spend years doing the opposite, bracing, avoiding, or obsessing, so simply trying something different is already a sign that your system is willing to learn. In this video, we are going to focus on how to use somatic tracking in more natural settings. You will learn how to do it when you are walking, sitting, working, or going about your day. You will also learn how to handle common challenges, what to do when pain seems to get worse when you pay attention to it, what to do when emotions come up, and how to keep your expectations realistic so you do not accidentally turn somatic tracking into another test you can fail. Think of this as moving from learning scales on a piano to playing simple songs in real life. The underlying skill is the same, but the context is richer and more varied. Let us start with why it is so important to bring somatic tracking into daily life at all. Your nervous system does not only learn during formal practices. It is learning all the time, from every interaction you have with your body and your environment. When you get out of a chair, when you walk across a room, when you lie down in bed, when you wake up in the morning, your brain is always asking, often unconsciously, is this safe or dangerous? And it is adjusting the pain alarm accordingly. If you only practice somatic tracking in a quiet room for 10 minutes here and there, you are giving your brain some valuable new experiences. But if you can also sprinkle this attitude of curious, safe observation into the little moments of your day, you multiply those learning opportunities many times over. You are telling your nervous system, again and again, this is also a moment where I can feel and be okay. So how do you actually do that? Let us take a simple example. Sitting. Maybe sitting has been difficult for you. Perhaps you have learned to dread long meetings, car rides, or even meals because you anticipate pain. In the old pattern, you might sit down and almost immediately start scanning, how bad is it? How long until it gets worse? You might tense up in anticipation, hold your breath, or keep checking the clock. All of that tells your brain, this is dangerous. Sound the alarm early and often. With somatic tracking in daily life, you are going to experiment with a different approach. Imagine you are about to sit. Before you do, you might pause for one slow breath. As you lower yourself into the chair, you gently remind yourself, my spine and hips are strong. My nervous system is sensitive, but I am safe enough to sit. You take your seat, and instead of immediately checking for the worst, you let your attention briefly scan your body in a neutral way. You might notice, there is some pressure in my lower back. There is contact under my thighs. My feet are on the floor. You are including the painful area, but you are also including neutral areas. As the minutes pass, if you notice the familiar discomfort growing, you acknowledge it with the same kind of language you practiced in the last video. I am noticing an increase in sensation here. This is my alarm system getting louder. It is okay. I can watch it. This hurts, but it is not dangerous. You might soften your shoulders, lengthen your exhale, and keep your awareness a little wider, part on the sensation, part on your breath or your surroundings. You are not forcing yourself to sit through intolerable pain. If it becomes too much, you are allowed to shift, stand up briefly, or adjust your posture. But as you do, you try to keep the story consistent. I am changing position to be kind to myself, not because I am fragile or damaged. That distinction is important. Small acts of self-care, with a non-fearful explanation, support safety learning. Panic-driven escape reinforces danger learning. Now let us look at another situation. Walking. Maybe walking has been something you avoid or something you force yourself through with a lot of fear. You might worry that each step is wearing down your spine, your knees, or your hips. This is a powerful opportunity for somatic tracking in motion. Before you start walking, take a moment to reconnect with the reconceptualization you have been building. You might think, my pain is real and my alarm system is sensitive, but my tissues are not in crisis. Many people walk with the same scan findings I have and feel no pain. My brain has associated walking with danger, and I am about to show it that walking can be safe. Then, as you begin to walk, you bring a light, curious awareness to your body. You do not stare at every step looking for trouble. Instead, you might choose a gentle focus, such as the feeling of your feet making contact with the ground. You might notice the rolling of your foot from heel to toe, or the way your arms naturally swing. If your painful area draws your attention, you briefly meet it with the same somatic tracking attitude. There is that familiar sensation in my back. It is there, I can feel it, and I can keep moving gently. This is safe enough. Then you widen your focus again. If you find that paying attention to the painful area makes it surge, you are not alone. This is a common experience. Remember, your brain has been trained to treat that area as dangerous, so focusing on it can sometimes wake up the alarm more at first. This does not mean somatic tracking is harming you. It means your nervous system is showing you how sensitized it is. In those moments, you can adjust. Instead of staring at the sensation, you might touch in for just a second or two, then move your attention back to a neutral part of your body or to the environment around you. You can look at the trees, the sky, the buildings, or the faces of people around you. You can feel the air on your skin. Each time you pendulate your attention like this, painful area, neutral area, outer world, you are showing your brain that your whole experience is bigger than this one sensation. That, too, is safety learning. Somatic tracking in daily life is also about how you respond when you cannot do a formal practice, but pain suddenly demands your attention. Perhaps you are in the middle of a conversation, or working at your desk, or cooking dinner, and a sharp twinge hits. The old pattern might be to immediately think, "Oh no, here it comes," and spiral into stress. The PRT-informed pattern might look like this instead. You pause for just 1 or 2 seconds. Silently name what is happening. There is a spike in my shoulder. Remind yourself, this is my nervous system, not an emergency. And then you gently bring your attention back to what you were doing, maybe with a slightly longer exhale. That tiny 2-second intervention is a form of microsomatic tracking. It takes advantage of the gap between sensation and story. You cannot always control when a sensation arises, but you can increasingly influence how you interpret it. And that interpretation feeds directly into the brain's decision about whether to keep the alarm blaring. Let us talk about what to do when somatic tracking brings up emotions in daily life, because that is also a very common and very valid experience. When you bring gentle attention to pain, you are not just contacting physical sensations. You are often brushing up against fear, frustration, sadness, anger, or grief that have been living around the pain. You might notice that when you sit with an aching back, tears come to your eyes, not only because it hurts, but because you remember all the things you have missed, the ways people have not understood, the appointments that left you feeling dismissed. If that happens while you are walking or sitting at home, you can give yourself a little extra space. Maybe you pause, put a hand gently on your chest or your belly, and acknowledge the emotion. Of course I feel sad. Of course I feel angry. This has been so hard. You do not have to analyze the feeling right then. Simply letting it be present without judging it adds another layer of safety to your internal world. You are not only saying, "These sensations can be here without danger." You are also saying, "These feelings can be here without danger." If strong emotions arise in a less private setting, say at work or in public, you still have options. You might take a subtle breath, soften your face, and silently say to yourself, "I will come back to this later when I have more space." Then, when you are alone, you can spend a few minutes combining somatic tracking with emotional awareness. Noticing where you feel the emotion in your body, naming it, and offering yourself the same kindness you are learning to offer to your pain. Another important aspect of bringing somatic tracking into everyday life is watching your expectations. It is very natural to think, if I do this correctly, my pain should go down right away. Sometimes there will be immediate shifts. You might do a short practice and feel a drop in intensity, or you might be able to do an activity with less fear and notice that the pain is quieter. Those moments are encouraging. They are evidence that your nervous system is responsive, that the volume knob can move. But for many people, especially at first, the main change they notice is not less pain, but less panic about the pain, or more ability to function even if the pain is there. These are not consolation prizes. They are signs of genuine progress in PRT. Remember, the long-term goal is not just to make pain vanish. It is to teach your brain that these sensations are not emergencies. As that lesson sinks in, pain often decreases as a byproduct. So when you practice somatic tracking while walking, sitting, working, or resting, try to measure success by questions like, was I able to stay a bit more curious? Did I speak to myself in a kinder way? Did I avoid one extra round of catastrophic thinking? Those are the changes that add up over time. Of course, there will be days when everything feels harder. Maybe you are tired, stressed, or already in a flare. On those days, somatic tracking in daily life might look much simpler. It might be just noticing one sensation, saying, "This is my alarm, it is loud today, and that is okay." Then doing something supportive for yourself, like a brief stretch, a glass of water, or stepping outside for a moment of fresh air. You are not failing on those days. You are adapting the practice to your real circumstances. Before we close, let us weave together what you have learned about reconceptualization and somatic tracking in daily life into a single picture. Reconceptualization gives you the map, pain as an overprotective alarm, driven by a sensitized nervous system rather than ongoing structural damage. Somatic tracking is how you walk around that map, moment by moment, in your lived experience. Each time you notice a sensation and respond with the new understanding and with safety, you reinforce the new map. Each time you drop, even slightly, the old story of, "I am breaking," you let your brain update its predictions. Over time, these small shifts become your nervous system's new normal. Moments that used to automatically trigger fear and high alarm, sitting, walking, bending, working, begin to feel more neutral. You might still feel sensations, but they do not dominate you in the same way. You start to regain a sense of choice. After this video, you might choose one or two everyday situations where you will consciously experiment with somatic tracking. It could be the first 5 minutes of sitting at your desk, the first few steps when you get out of bed, or the walk from your car to the store. Keep it small and specific. Before you do the activity, remind yourself of the new model. During it, bring in gentle attention and safety messages. Afterward, take 10 seconds to notice what happened, not to judge, but to learn. You are not trying to be perfect. You are building a new relationship with your body and your nervous system. Every time you bring somatic tracking into the flow of your day, you are teaching your brain, "I am here, I am listening, and we are safer than you think." In the next video, we will build on these skills by introducing graded or safe exposure to activities you have been avoiding. There, you will learn how to design and carry out small, structured steps back into movement and life, using everything you have learned so far about pain, safety, and attention. For now, know that simply by walking through your day with a bit more curiosity and kindness toward your sensations, you are already doing deep, meaningful work. Your nervous system is paying attention, and it can learn from every one of these moments.